Every once in a while, as I'm really in the zone with something that's bringing joy or meaning to my life, this feeling of gratitude would creep up on me. It feels a little different than the joy doing something pleasurable gives me. When I feel joy, I'm in the moment, feeling happiness from all the good things right in front of my face. But when I start to feel grateful, happiness is not just felt from what's right in front of me, but I think about all the joyful and meaningful things in my life on a larger scale. I'm grateful for all the things that came to me, or things that didn't come to me, that gave me the life I currently have. As I thought deeper about this feeling of gratitude, I remembered all the positive things I've heard it can do to a person. Promotes greater life satisfaction, dissolves symptoms of depression and anxiety, supports bodily health, builds strong relationships. Overall, to me at least, just everything one would need to live a good life and be a good person. I've even heard it cited as the most powerful thing to practice in your life if you want to feel happier. So I thought, wow, what a neat video idea. Diving into what I've heard about gratitude, seeing if I can implement it more into my own life, and seeing if I come out the other end a happier person. Now, what would this video look like? How do I talk about gratitude? How would I visually represent gratitude? Before I knew it, the act of planning this video became one of the most intense feelings of gratitude I've ever felt in my life. I was accidentally doing the gratitude practices I would come to find more about later. The shot list I was forming in my head turned into my gratitude list. The dialogue turned into gratitude letters. Even though a lot of this was abstract thought and emotion, I became overwhelmed by how much in my life I have to be grateful for. The happiness I cultivated through feeling grateful was something I wanted to hold on to. And so this is what set me down a path where I challenged myself to practice gratitude every day. This was a bit of a soft challenge for me. I wasn't super strict on how I wanted to implement gratitude into my life. I just knew I wanted to do something each day that would make me feel grateful. I wrote down some ideas that I found on the internet, and I came up with a few of my own, especially because not all the ideas I found on the internet were super clear or inspiring to me. One simple but very effective practice for me was just taking one picture every day representing something I'm grateful for. For me, my pictures ranged from something physically in front of me that I was grateful for, or maybe just whatever place I was at when I was thinking more abstractly about my gratitude. In my meditation app, there was a course specifically for cultivating appreciation, which really allowed for a mental space for deep gratitude. No distractions, just me in the zone with all the things I feel grateful for in life. The course was only 10 sessions long, though, so when I finished that and went back to regular meditation, I followed the guidance of Dr. Phil Stutz, as he explains in the documentary Jonah Hill made about him.
The grateful flow is not the things you're grateful for. The grateful flow is the process of creating these things. So close your eyes. Now, what you want to do is you say 2 or 3 of at most 4 things you're grateful for. And the smaller the thing, the better, because it forces you to concentrate gratefulness. Okay, now, keep naming things, but don't say them out loud. The next thing you do is you feel that you're going to create another grateful thought, but you don't. You block it, so all you feel is the force that would create a grateful thought. And as it gets stronger and stronger, you feel taken over by it. That's the grateful flow.
But one of the most popular ways to practice gratitude is by keeping a gratitude list or gratitude journal. Some people just write down more like a list of all the things they're feeling grateful for in the moment, and some focus more on just a couple things and write more in depth, expressing their personal gratitude towards those things. Journaling is already a habit of mine for thought dumps, creative ideas, and to-do lists. Implementing gratefulness exercises into this was pretty easy. Through the daily implementation of one or more of these practices, I've become a more grateful person. My health and my happiness have drastically increased thanks to the constant reminders of all I have that is good in my life. If you want to feel these benefits too, be more grateful. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and thank you for watching. You know, I'm starting to think I may have oversimplified some things. I really do wish bringing gratitude into my life was as easy as that. Don't get me wrong, the exercises, the practices were genuinely helpful, and I do believe that the implementation of gratitude into my life is drastically improving it. But going into this, I had no idea just how much effort I would need to put into defining what gratitude means to me, deconstructing the negative beliefs surrounding it, and overcoming so many obstacles in order to feel it fully. From the start of this challenge, I was asking myself, what about when I'm having a bad day? I already kind of had this nagging feeling that forcing myself to feel grateful on a bad day was not going to be easy. What I wasn't sure of was if it would be something worth forcing myself upon, like if that effort to reframe my thoughts would have as transformative of results these practices promise, or if it would just make me feel worse. I was right. For the most part, it really did just make me feel worse. This had got me reflecting on many of the past messages I've heard on the subject of gratitude throughout my life, or messages that are supposed to instill a feeling of gratefulness. Don't focus on the bad, focus on the good. Remember, others have it so much worse than you. You should be grateful just to have food, water, and shelter. Eat your food. There are starving children in Africa. It was through examining these messages that I realized the framework for gratefulness in my life has, for the most part, been in response to wanting more, not fully appreciating what I had, a lack of thankfulness, or basically just as a preventative measure for being unhappy, selfish, or complaining about the relatively comfortable life I've lived. Yes, I do believe that encouraging gratitude does help prevent those things and provides much needed perspectives on people's lives that are different than ours, but have I ever felt a profound feeling of gratitude that was born out of feelings of guilt or shame? Have I ever had a formative experience where gratefulness was encouraged during a moment of joy? From reflecting on these questions and my own memories of when and how gratitude was encouraged in my life, I got to thinking, I don't even know if I could tell you what the actual definition of gratitude is. Yeah, weird. I can describe moments where I've felt grateful, or at least I thought I felt grateful, but if I was asked to tell you the dictionary definition of gratitude or how it's different from the definitions of thankfulness or appreciation, I couldn't tell you. Yeah, a little late into the video for this, but it really did take me this long to realize that I don't fully understand the semantics of gratitude. I better figure this out. Right, so it's clear to me that all gratitude, gratefulness kind of all lumped in as this appreciation of benefits received. Appreciation, the expressive admiration, approval, or gratitude, thankful, conscious of benefit received. Okay, so clearly there's a lot of overlap here. I'm too much of a visual guy. I need to do this. Okay, I figured it out. According to Webster's 9th New Collegiate Dictionary, this is how you become grateful. First, you receive a benefit. Then you become conscious of benefit received. You are then thankful for the benefit received. Because of that, you appreciate the benefit received. And when you appreciate the benefit received, you express your feeling of appreciation for benefit received. Therefore, you become grateful for your benefit received. So what does this all mean? I don't fucking know. I feel like I just crossed the line into overthinking all of this. Okay, maybe actually the one word that stands out to me here is conscious. After you receive a benefit, you don't get to any of these other words. You don't get to gratefulness unless you are conscious of this benefit received. Thankfulness, appreciation, gratefulness, for all I care, even if there is a lot of overlap in these words, even if they are kind of interchangeable feelings, even if the quality of life benefits are all kind of the same, it all starts with consciousness. And I guess that's what these gratitude exercises are supposed to do, right? Support this consciousness of your benefits received, support this consciousness of what you have to be grateful for. But actually, this is huge in my understanding of gratefulness, or why it can feel useless or even painful at times. In our bad moments, we're not being conscious of what we have to be grateful for, or at least it can be really difficult to do so, because if something is wrong, our brains are wired to focus on the problem because we need to solve it or get out of danger. I'm trying to think as basic and evolutionary as possible. Everyone else always comes back to the predator example, so that's what I'm going with. If we become aware we're being chased by a predator, our brains in a response of fear and danger are going to be focusing every part of our being into running or fighting. We're not going to be conscious of, last night's meal was sure tasty, or, wow, the sun feels really nice today. And especially not, well, that's the end of the road for me. I sure am grateful for the nice life I had. Take me away, predator! In today's world, our brains can't distinguish something like worrying about our careers or money or relationships versus a predator staring you down. So it's no wonder not only gratefulness is hard to generate within ourselves, but also why even the thought of trying could make us feel worse. Our brains are punishing us for not focusing on getting out of the danger, or maybe more simply, not taking care of an unaddressed need. Because of this, rather than overcome the obstacles that don't allow me to feel grateful, I've started using gratefulness, or maybe lack thereof, as a tool. I've come to notice that when I feel in a stable, content, healthy headspace, with the help of these practices, gratefulness has become quite easy to feel. So when I say to myself, okay, it's time to feel grateful, and there's a lot of resistance or pain at the thought, I've started using that as a cue. I say, okay, now's not the right time to feel grateful. There must be something on my mind or in my environment that's causing distress. Is this something I can take action on? It's clear to me that an inability to feel grateful is an indicator that I have unmet emotional or physical needs. When I can't feel grateful, those have become really powerful moments of checking in with myself to see what I need and take stock on what I can take action on to meet my needs. Whether my needs are actionable or not, I trust that I'll come back to gratefulness once the negative emotions have passed. I want to use the simplest possible example I could think of. For the past few months, my life has been flooded with social interactions, like stacked weekends, really awesome fun things actually with the people that I care most about in my life. Spending time with others, spending time with friends and family is one of the things that I value most in my life. However, all the socialization has led my introverted ass to feeling really burnt out from it, and I can long for the weekends where all I have to do is just sit home, do nothing, talk to no one, play Tears of the Kingdom for an ungodly amount of time. And in longing for that alone time, in looking at all these events coming up, and feeling just overwhelmed by them instead of excited to see all these like great people in my life. The old me with the old messages of gratefulness probably would have said something like, "You ungrateful bastard, how dare you not want to spend time with others, how dare you want to just be alone. Here life presents you a plethora of all the things you care about in your life and you squander it." I don't know what happened there. Did I use the definition of squander correctly? Not really, but close enough. Where the fuck was I? Yeah, that mindset helps no one. Not me, not my friends. The self-shame, the self-guilt, it does not do anything to instill a greater feeling of gratefulness for those things in my life. Instead, I'm practicing accepting this feeling of duality, that yes, I have a lot to feel grateful for in my life, and I have unmet personal needs. It helps uncover the deeper need of just pacing the socialization a little more. My schedule, the way it stands, is not like I'm gonna cancel anything right now, but there are things that I think I can do on weekdays to make sure that I am really pacing myself socially, that I'm not burning myself out, that I'm able to ground my introverted ass in the alone time that I do have, so I can go into these social situations that I am truly, truly grateful for with my needs met, and then fully be able to embrace the good that they bring my life. Or another example of this is where I was when I noticed that my light phone video blew up. I knew it was getting a lot of attention in the weeks following its release, but I went to Colorado for a weekend and I was kind of cut off from the world. I was in the airport on my way back from that long weekend when in just those 4 days, I am realizing, I'm looking at the metrics like, oh my God, this is the biggest hike in views and subscribers I've ever had, all over that one weekend. Of course, there was this surface level excitement and gratitude for all this, but I felt more discomfort than anything. Again, in the past, the old me would have sounded like, "You ungrateful bastard! How dare you feel discomfort in a time like this when all your dreams are coming true?" The old me was quite animated. But instead, I said, okay, what's going on here? What's really going on here? I'm exhausted from the weekend. It was quite busy. We packed a lot in in just the 4 days. I am pretty overtired. The time zone switch definitely messed with me quite a bit. I am trying to navigate this huge, complicated airport with all these heavy bags that I'm carrying around for forever, it seems, trying to find my gate, and I'm hungry. And it's like, okay, it's okay that you're not feeling grateful for all this right now. You have a laundry list of unmet needs, rest and food and just a peace of mind that you're getting to where you need to go. Let's just get some food, get on the plane, watch some Mystery Science Theater 3000, maybe take a nap, and just get home. And throughout the rest of that day, it was almost like the anticipation of gratitude was what was helping me stay sane. Hopeful even. Once I took the pressure off, just the trust that I had something in my life to feel incredibly grateful for, not now, but soon, eventually, that trust, that anticipation was like the best thing I could have asked for in that moment. I think better than the raw gratitude itself. Yeah, just some examples of how I'm using gratitude as that tool to identify the personal unmet needs, and just by how letting go of the pressure to feel grateful for something in the moment actually leads me to feel more grateful for it down the road once those needs are met. No matter what, both good and bad things will be present. Maybe there will be so many bad things that the good will just be reduced to I'm breathing air and I'm alive. But if it's one thing I've stopped, it's seeing the act of being grateful as a means to get rid of the bad things in life or negative emotions. First, it starts as this acceptance of there are good things over here and there are bad things over here. These things don't define my life as a whole as good or bad because they're just happening at the same time. They will always be happening at the same time. Then I empower the good while I'm feeling in an emotionally stable headspace to do so, which thankfully is a lot of my life, and that's what practicing gratefulness ultimately does, empower the good. The more I've practiced gratefulness, the more resilient I've felt while getting through the bad things in life. It's a feeling of these negative emotions will pass, and once they do, I am confident that my life is rich with the things that I'm grateful for. Maybe I don't feel grateful for these things right now, but I know I have before, and I will again soon. And every so often, gratefulness really will dissolve my negative emotions, as many have said it is intended to do. But this only happens when I'm not forcing it. So the biggest takeaways that I've learned so far are that when I'm not able to feel grateful in the moment, it's not really due to a lack of things to feel grateful for or a lack of not knowing how to feel grateful. It's mostly just a matter of unmet needs that need addressing. Also, that these gratitude practices really are just kind of practice. They are most effective for me when they are training my brain to feel the gratefulness in the moments when it's naturally bubbling up in my life, not so much when I sit down to journal about it. And once I reframed this for myself, only now do I truly start to feel the profound impacts that gratitude can have on my life. And boy, how I wish it could just end there.